My name is John Bergman. I'm a business coach here in San Diego, California, and today I have the opportunity and the pleasure of interviewing J.L. Carpenter, who is one of the leading criminal attorneys in the Houston, Texas area. So J.L., welcome, and thank you very much for taking time to do this video.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
Today I'd like to talk about DWIs and what happens with DWI. You know, you see all these news programs now where they're showing police stopping people and for DWI and stuff like that. So I just have some questions I'd like to ask you. And I'll use myself as an example. Let's say it's me that's involved. I've been to a party, JL, and I've had a few drinks, but I feel perfectly fine to drive home. But as I'm driving home, I all of a sudden look and there are flashing lights in my rearview mirror. What on earth do I do?
Well, of course, you know, the best policy is to not drink and then drive. But the law in the state of Texas allows us to drink and then drive as long as we're under the legal limit of 0.08 in breath or blood alcohol content. So if you're pulled over, the first thing you should do is turn on your signal and pull over in a proper manner, and then let the officer come to your window with your window down. I would have my hands on the steering wheel so that the officer can see my hands because they fear for their safety.
Okay, I understand that. So if I am stopped and he's not asking me questions, can he talk to me about how much I've had to drink?
So they call that kind of an investigative question period where they're gathering information. So the investigation for a DWI actually starts with their dash cam in their vehicle as they're pulling you over. And that's why I mentioned pull over properly, use a signal, follow traffic laws, because it demonstrates that you have the normal use of your mental faculties while you're operating that motor vehicle. But when they come to the window and ask questions like, where are you coming from? Have you been drinking? How much have you had to drink? You don't have to answer those questions. You're not obligated to.
Okay. What if they tell me to get out of the car?
Then you need to step out of the car or you're going to be forcefully removed. But I always say be polite, be cooperative, but also know your rights. You don't have to answer questions that you don't want to answer, and you don't have to do those standardized field sobriety tests that you hear so much about.
That was going to be one of my questions. And let's say now they've gotten out of the car, can they just automatically start searching my car?
No. So unless you give them consent, and there's some small exceptions, like if they smell the odor of marijuana coming from your vehicle, or unless they have a search warrant, they cannot be in your car.
Okay. You mentioned the field sobriety test, and that's one of the questions I had. Do I have to take that field sobriety test?
No, you don't. And one of the things that I hear a lot of is people say, well, I passed the test. These standardized field sobriety tests are not pass or fail tests. They're just clues as to intoxication. They're looking to see if you've got the normal use of your physical or mental faculties about yourself. But what's normal for you and what's normal for me may be two different things. And definitely what's normal for an officer who uses standardized field sobriety tests hundreds and hundreds of times is different for everybody.
Okay, and I know when I got out of the car, let's say I got out of the car and they took my driver's license, but now they're not going to give it back to me. So do I have to let them have it?
Yes, and in Texas, they'll mail it into the Department of Public Safety, but that's why it's really important to get the right DWI lawyer as soon as you have the ability to retain somebody, because we can help you get your driver's license back.
Well, that was my next question. Will it automatically be suspended?
Not automatically. They give you a temporary driving permit to get you through the 40 days until the suspension kicks in. But when you hire us within 15 days from the date of arrest, we're going to request a hearing to appeal that suspension and have a hearing on that. Okay.
So at what point during the arrest, or maybe this is an odd question, but what point during the arrest am I able to contact my attorney? You, of course.
So the most important thing to do is find someone who can help you make a bond. So it usually takes about 8 to 12 hours to get somebody bonded out of jail once they're booked in, once they're processed in. So the most important call is to somebody who has the means of getting you out. And then what I typically say is get something to eat, take a shower, take a nap, get some rest, then come see us.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't think I could call right away. So. Okay, let's say that I am convicted of a DWI. Does that mean that I'm a convicted felon?
No, not necessarily. So a DWI first time offense is a misdemeanor. But a DWI first time offense with a child passenger who's under the age of 15 is a felony offense. So unless there's a child passenger, a DWI first offense or even a second offense are misdemeanor offenses.
Okay, and how long would a DWI arrest stay on my record?
If it's a DWI Class B first offense and you've never been in trouble before and you don't have any arrests thereafter, there's a small waiting period, but ultimately you can get it off of your public record. The law just recently changed to allow that, but it will stay, the government will always know about it.
Okay, but my employer won't know, won't be on my credit record or anything
That's
like
right.
that. Is that right?
That's right. So for instance, if I'm a real estate agent and I'm applying for a license through the state of Texas would still be able to see it. But then if I went to a private employer, the private employer wouldn't see it in my background.
Okay, good. Well, I think these are important questions. I appreciate your taking time to do this. You know, there's so much on the TV today with these live PDs and all that sort of stuff. I mean, you see these people get pulled over and arrested. So I'm glad that we had an opportunity to really get through this. I guess the first thing is, first best advice you'd give is don't drink and drive, which you mentioned earlier. And the second one is, if you are caught and if you are arrested, when you get out of jail, be sure and call J.L. Carpenter. Would that be fair?
That's fair. Thanks, John.
J.L., thanks again for taking time to do this, and I look forward to chatting with you further.
Thank you.